Oh there, I figure this Halloween is on its way. Why not the original? The classic John Carpenter's Halloween. There's a lot of mystery in Halloween and I'm not sure whether to do this in two parts or not, but fuck it. Why not? The original Halloween. Now, in 1978, John Carpenter wanted to do something different, something unique. And he wanted to do a film that would later make history, that being the classic slasher film. He already had this success in '74 with a film called Dark Sky. The film would later inspire Ridley Scott in that being Alien. But '78 he wanted to make a really scary film, that being Halloween. Now, to make Halloween, for people who may not know this, I look for a lot of actors, unknown actors. One of them, would be Jamie Lee Curtis, with her mum having the fame, that being Janet Leigh, with the original Wood Psycho. He felt Jamie Lee Curtis would be brilliant as the role of Laurie. It was going to be a typical story, and the film, for people who may or may not know this, was originally going to be called Black Christmas. That's right. But as we know, Black Christmas had a bit of history in '74 and originally was going to be called Halloween. It was about, a guy who was a psychopath, based off a mental siren, and goes on a killing spree on Halloween night. Apart from all that, you look for a lot of well-known actors, one of them being John Presence. As you all know, John Presence made it big in the role of Dr. Humus. That's your story. After making the big star and the big actors, he left one of them. One of them would repeat the same line all the way through the film. Jokingly! You may remember her in Carrie. And again it starts off with, as we all know Halloween, you've got a little boy, stabs his sister, but I love the way you don't see it until later on. Now, there was two edited versions of Halloween. There was the televised one that come out in ABC back in the early 80s. But they do have a few scenes in it. You've got Dr. Humus and he visits his Michael Mathis as a kid. Footage never seen. Until you got the televised one. You got little bits here and there that was never sold until '81. Which was a different version than what you saw in the 1978 version of Halloween. And again, as I was about to say, kills his sister and then he ends up in a mental asylum. That was in '63. And it comes into what would have been the present, 1978. As you know, he breaks out and then goes on a killing spree and has Jamie Lee fucking Curtis. What was fun about Halloween, or whether it would have got a bit of finger with teenagers, because in every part of the fucking movie it makes out like your typical teenagers are a bunch of fucking sex maniacs, that all the girls are just slappers and all they want to do is get fucking laid. But I do love Halloween. I love the fact that all the old oldies, watching all the old horror films. And it did actually have two actors, or three actors, play the role of Michael Mathis. We all know the famous scene with the Michael Mathis mast that was taken off a tap-tinted tour mast from Star Trek, William Shatner. They actually used the original William Shatner's mast face, dyed it white, put a fake wig on, got it a fucking day, and there you go, that's Michael Mathis, and the rest is history. And we also love the poster, the iconic poster of the pumpkin and the knife. And as I was going to say, you had three actors. You had the guy who worked behind the set, the curly hair, as Michael Mathis. You had another guy dressed up as Michael Mathis. And you also had the little boy, the one who's a little lad who stabs his sister. And again, I think in '81 they might have had a different actor play him again when they had the TV version of Halloween. Again, there's a few extra scenes in it. It's wasn't sold in the 78 one. The scene where John Pescience is trying to convince his high up people not to let him out, but they totally fucking ignore him. There's a scene where Jamie Lee Curtis reckons she's being foiled. There's a lot more of that. There's loads of scenes anyway, loads of scenes what was never sold into the 81, which was funny enough because the scene was trying to follow that on in 1981 when they did the sequel, Halloween 2. It does have a bit of success, in that I say. It's not really a gruesome film. In the first Halloween, there's not a lot of blood, there's a bit of nudity, a bit of tits here and there, but if you've gone into it like the other ones, the death scenes are a bit amateur, you know, the bit where the dirt gets a full slit, no blood. See where he stabbed his lad and he's stuck on a wall, and Michael Mathis is looking at him and he's saying, wow, make a fucking masterpiece. No blood. But for the original Halloween, I never went into it for the first blood. It's more psychological. When you first saw Halloween, it was interesting because you never knew what Michael Mathis was going to do. You never saw the mask to do the middle of the fucking film. And I actually like The Shape. That is when you could call Michael Mathis The Shape. And let's not forget the iconic theme tune. Everybody knows it. You know that. I'm doing a shitty job, but it's used in every Halloween. They also use other different stores of Halloween. And the film made fucking history. 78, Halloween was a big hit for slasher films. Now we all know we had films that were slasher films even before that. You had fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Black Christmas, the one I just mentioned. But Halloween changed the look of films. Without Halloween, you wouldn't have had Friday the 13th. You wouldn't have had all your other slasher and dice films. You know, it was simple. It was a psychopath, broke out of a mental asylum, went on a fucking killing spree. And it made a lot of number of sequels. Some dud, some not so dud, some fucking shit. But there you go. And the good thing is I had to do it in 2 parts. Because I like Halloween and it's a fucking classic, why not? Because I like Halloween. There's no faults in the original Halloween. John Pescience plays a brilliant role as Dr. Loomis. I love the lines he says in it. It's evil, poor evil. And the cop, more fancy talk. Nobody knows what it's there for. It's evil. It's like Satan. He's just evil. He says it a lot. The lines he delivers. I'm doing a shit job. But you've got to, you know, we all know the lines. You've got to hear John Pescience. May he rest in peace. The lines he delivers, spot on. So again, as I was going to say, the original Halloween. Why not? It's a classic, and everybody watches it. And whether it's the original, by John Carpenter, 78, or it's any of the other ones, why not? For Halloween, and it's a classic. A 10-star rating, because I don't see any faults in Halloween. It's a fucking classic. So again, a 10-star rating. And because Halloween is on its way, I'll talk about the other Halloweens into then. See you later.